The boy opened his brother's suitcase and found a limited edition magazine. Just one look and his eyes went wide.
No clothes on anybody. Sickening.
He continued to rummage through the box and finally found 2 boxes of firecrackers. Since the family is gone, the boy has been very capricious, watching the most exciting movies and eating unlimited ice cream. He sniped at his brother's expensive toys with a rubber gun and spraying his mom's perfume all over the crevice. Kevin was so happy to be left alone. He aimed his sled at the stairs. He put on his scarf. Just yesterday he'd been annoyed with everyone in the house for being so noisy because he's been so naughty and everyone hates him. But then he woke up and the house was empty. Mom and Dad took the whole family on a trip. They forgot about the little boy. When they got on the plane, they remembered they were missing something.
Kevin!
Kevin thought Santa Claus had granted his wish.
I made my family disappear.
But at night, 2 burglars came to his house. Kevin was awakened by the sound of voices. He saw a shadow on the window. He was terrified and turned on the lights. The burglars thought the house was occupied. They fled in a hurry. Kevin hid under the bed for a long time before he dared to come out. Now that he was the head of the family, he had to do something for the family. The next day, the 2 men tried to burglarize the house, but when they arrived at the villa, they found it brightly lit. The windows were full of shadows, as if there was a party going on. With so many people at home, they didn't dare make a move. What no one realized was that this was just Kevin's little trick. He's in the house, pulling the rope, pulling the dummy around the window, drinking, and Jordan was riding the train in circles. Kevin was bouncing and jumping all over the place. He finally scared off the 2 thieves. He bought himself a pizza and turned up the TV on purpose. The sound of a gangster on a TV show. He ordered the delivery guy to put it on the steps, but as soon as the delivery boy asked for the money, the gangster was already impatient.
Before I pump your guts full of lead. 1, 2, 10.
The next morning the 2 thieves came back. Last night the house was full of people, but today it was strangely quiet. The thin man decided to take a look. He puts his foot in the dog hole and his shoe falls in. Kevin turned on the TV and played the sound of the gangster from yesterday's movie. The skinny guy was scared. He brought another iron pot and the firecrackers he found yesterday. He threw the firecrackers into the pot while the movie was on. The thin man was very scared and tried to persuade the fat man not to go to the burglary, but Fatty insisted on waiting in the car. Sure enough, it didn't take long to see Kevin cutting down the Christmas tree. The boy was alone in the villa. The boy hung a red-hot soldering iron on the doorknob. The stairs were covered with glue and put up 10-centimeter nails. He squeezed glue all over the plastic wrap. He brought over a cart full of goose feathers. He poured cool water on the stairs outside the door. He poured cool water on the yard. Then he dragged a rope and tied it to the cabin outside, in case of any danger. He could escape at the first moment. With everything ready to go, Kevin spent Christmas in a relaxed manner. Then he waited for 2 burglars with a pistol. They pretended to be Santa Claus and said they wanted to give Kevin a present. But Kevin didn't say a word. He put out his gun and shot the fat man without hesitation. The fat man couldn't stand up because of the pain. The thin man had to take the bull by the horns. He went in through the dog hole and was immediately startled.
Hello.
The 2 of them had no choice but to split up and act separately. Fatty came to the back door and stepped on the icy steps. He struggled to stand up and grabbed the railing to move forward, but he fell again and went straight back to the starting point. I don't know how many times he fell, but he finally reached the door. But just as he grabbed the doorknob, his hands burned red. He was howling in pain, but he fell back again. This time the fat man changed the door and carefully tested the handle. After confirming that there was no problem, he finally let his guard down. The fat man with a head full of fire plunged headlong into the snow pile. When he looked up again, his hair was all burnt out. On the other side, the skinny guy also had difficulties. The skinny guy tried to go in through the basement and fell straight down. He slowly got up and started prying the door with a crowbar, only to realize that the door was unlocked. He snuck into the basement as if he'd found a treasure. He saw a light and pulled it. The glue on the stairs stuck to his shoes. He kept going up the stairs and stepped on another nail. The skinny guy was going crazy, so he had to come out and change the entrance. The sight of the half-open window finally boosted his confidence. This time, he took a closer look. After confirming that there was no danger, unconsciously laughed out. At this time the fat man finally entered the room. He blocked Kevin in the room, but when he opened the door, his face was covered with glue.
You're dead!
The boy puts toys on the floor and a bunch of glass balls. The burglar jumped in through the window. They were immediately stabbed and cried out. But he sat on the steps and laughed at the thieves.
I'm up here, you morons! Come and get me!
The fat man was furious. He stood up and went after the boy, but the boy lifted up a bucket of paint. He threw a bucket of paint at them. The fat man dodged it, but the thin man behind him was hit. Before he could rejoice, there was another blow in front of him. Kevin took advantage of the two fell to the ground, rushed to call the police. As soon as he left the house, the two men were already chasing after him. Kevin was about to run away, but the thin man grabbed his feet. In a moment of desperation, he saw his brother's spider. He grabbed it and put it on the skinny guy's face. The skinny guy grabbed a crowbar and tried to kill the spider. The fat guy woke up and got hit hard. Kevin went to the attic and grabbed the escape tunnel. Then he took a deep breath and slid straight to the cabin outside. Although the landing was a little accidental, but luckily, he was out of danger for the time being. He turned around and taunted, but the two thieves were very angry, so he grabbed the rope and moved little by little. The height of more than 10 meters scared the thin man out of his wits, but at this time, Kevin brought big scissors. They wanted to run back, but Kevin didn't give them a chance. Kevin took this opportunity to escape. He ran into the neighbor's basement, but just as he was about to enter the room, he was caught by the thieves. They grabbed him and hung him on the door. They were furious and wanted to get back at Kevin. And then the old man from the neighborhood came by. He snuck up behind them with a big shovel and knocked the skinny guy out. As soon as he got Kevin down, the cops came to the door. The two thieves were caught looking like victims. They get in the police car. When they turned around, they saw Kevin waving his hand again. He looks like he's laughing at both of them. The two burglars were sent away. Kevin spent Christmas on his own, but this empty villa makes him feel very lonely. Luckily, his mom got on the van as fast as she could. On the van home, Kevin was staring at the group photo. Suddenly he heard a familiar voice.
Kevin! Kevin!
Seeing that the house was well decorated, Mom was so relieved. Kevin ran downstairs excitedly, and then he felt a sense of grievance.
Merry Christmas, sweetheart.
Just then, the whole family came back. They gave up their vacation for Kevin. They all said they hated him, but at the same time, they cared about him. Kevin's bravery and courage impressed the family.